In Tamil Nadu's Trichy, a black flag protest marked the final day of the St. Mary Magdalene Church festival. Dalit Christians boycotted the celebrations, accusing the dominant caste Christians of systemic exclusion. Professors from Kottapalayam submitted a petition to the district collector demanding equal participation in church affairs. For instance, access to burial grounds. I mean, you're not even equal after death, I say. And an end to caste segregation in Christian spaces. They allege they are barred from paying parish subscriptions, a move that strips them of voting rights. Even the bishop of Kumbakonam diocese stayed away from the chariot procession protest against casteism. Despite a 2014 court ruling granting access to a common cemetery, physical and symbolic walls still separate the community. A Supreme Court plea now seeks to recognize these exclusions not as private matters but as constitutional violations. The century-old church, rooted in 16th century Jesuit missions, now stands as a site of division, where Dalit Christians are fighting for equal dignity, like I said earlier, even in death. And I have a guest who works with the community and who can speak very eloquently on the matter. Shalin Maria Lawrence, who's an author and social activist. Shalin, I mean, a lot of us think that there is no caste, thank God for small mercies amongst Christians and also Islam, but then the myth is exploded many times across India. But this story I read in 2013, Shalin, I remember very clearly, where once again you are not allowed to cremate your dead, bury them in the cemetery, because the dominant caste comes and says, you can't do it here, you are not allowed to participate in a fest. What is going on here? Who's the culprit here? We have the rules in place, the laws are in place. Are these, I'm asking you a question and I apologize if you think it is very, very offensive. Apparently, some of my colleagues told me that they were a bunch who were converted, let us say, 3 generations ago. But so what? I can convert today, but I need to have those rights. What is this entire horrible, despicable thing about Dalit Christian, Shalin Maria Lawrence?
I've been speaking for Dalit Christians for almost a decade right now, and I've never been invited to any Tamil media to speak about Dalit Christian caste issues in Tamil Nadu. So, first time I'm happy that at least I've been able to speak in News9. Second thing is, we have been converted for around 6 generations in my family, my paternal side and my mother's side. So, my grandfather has been fighting for Dalit Christian rights in Madras and Chengalpat. And my father was involved in Dalit Christian rights in Tamil Nadu, and I am doing it. So we've been doing it for the last, 60, 70 years through generations. And to be honest, a total of 65%, Dalits contribute around, like they form around 65% of the total Christian population in Tamil Nadu. But I have a list right now. It's a list from the affidavit which was filed at the Madras High Court in 2021. Like, what is the discrimination practiced in Tamil Nadu churches? So I have 153 churches which has discrimination along with separate symmetries. This is a sample data. I'm not telling you it's 153 is the last number. It's a sample data, but 153 definitely having a dual crematorium, a dual symmetry for the dead Dalits and the other castes. Now coming to the place in contention right now, this church in Kottapalayam, Trichy. Trichy alone has around 22 churches where people have come out and talked about atrocities against Dalit Christians within the church. You're gonna ask me, is it just parishioners? No, it's just the parishioners have been casteist. The fathers, the priests have been very casteist, and then there are bishops who have been very casteist. So this is something which has been happening for decades, and nobody talks about it. They think, as if, yeah, the Christians, we are religious minorities, we are protected categories. You have to talk about, if there is any communal angle, you have to speak for us. But at the end of the day, when it comes to caste, people have to acknowledge caste has impermeated, the Christianity in Tamil Nadu, and in a very, very, where you can't even take the, chariots into Dalit streets. There's been an instance where a 1-year father during a mass has gone ahead and, he actually put a knife inside a Dalit priest in Virpuram district. This is like what happened in Kotekpalayam is I asked for who's the dominant caste because I know it's a dominant caste, but which dominant caste? But my inquiry says it's Udayas. So when people say, I'm a Dalit Christian, they say, oh, you converted for caste, right? Then what happened? Because a lot of people converted along with us, not just Dalits. Mudaliyars, there are Dalit Mudaliyars, there are Dalit Naidus, there are, sorry, there are Christian Mudaliyars, Christian Naidus, Christian Nadas, Christian Vellalas, Christian, uh, uh, it's a very
I
big
know,
list.
but Charlene,
Yeah.
but the point is
Huh.
that I suspected this and you said it, that the bishops and the priests, they are themselves mired in a caste discrimination, seems to be aping, another religion. I mean, I'm so sorry, one runs away from it and one gets into it. I mean, I think it's the way the mental makeup is. But I'm going to ask you, what about telling the DM about it? What about telling the Tahsildar about it? What about going to the book? You could be Dalit, whatever, Nadar, any caste. But there is something called the constitution in this country, or are we a banana republic?
End of the day, in spite of my religious, in spite of what religion I follow, I have to follow the constitution. That is
Yes,
my first holy book.
yes.
Constitution is my first holy book, right? So whether it comes to caste equality, it comes to gender, I have to follow that. After that only the church comes into place. So the big problem with Dalit Christians is they become so passive. They think, oh, DMK is there for me, they will save me. DMK will not save you from dual crematorium system. They will not save you from dual cemeteries. DMK will not save you from the segregation which you're facing inside the churches. There are churches where Dalits are not even allowed to enter in Madurai, around Madurai, in Sivagangai. I know those churches. And I know how this bishop, there are 18 archdioceses, 18 bishops are, uh, uh, 18 bishops are represented, they are appointed, but only two of them are Dalits. Because even the bishop
Right.
representation, it actually happens according to the caste. Now we are, the people who are representing minorities in DMK, or the people who are representing minorities like Peter Alphonse or people like them, are they are dominant caste. So they never talk about Dalit Christian rights at all.
Yeah,
They're like,
what
as
about,
if Dalit Christian doesn't exist for them.
so tell me something, I'm going to ask you, suppose I'm a Dalit Christian, I have to get my child baptized. Will the priest do it, or I'll have to stand in a queue? How does it work?
That will happen. That will happen. There's not going to be any issue. There'll be three issues. One is participation. You cannot participate in a church function. See,
Function,
the
yeah.
church, everything, it all feast, right?
Yeah.
Culture. That's what brings people together. The first thing is people will not be allowed to participate in the feast.
What about
Another thing,
voting rights?
Parish council, that is the second thing. Parish council are the administrative units of the churches. They manage the fund, they manage the representation, the administration of the church. Every time, even in Madras, not just Trichy, even in my own parish, I don't go to my parish because they treat Dalit Christians very poorly. That church was built by my forefather. My great grandfather built that church. It's more than 100 years old. But we are treated as second class citizens there. And people from Thuthukudi, the Nadar Christians who have, migrated here, they are given the parish, the positions, the decision makers. We are treated as second class. And then there's something called Maria in Senai, where there is a group where they ask the women to sweep the temple. And we, along with certain priests and nuns, we did a research and we found out every church in Tamil Nadu, the Maria in Senai, the people who sweep the church are Dalits. They choose the Dalit women for those purposes. And it's really, really wrong that there are certain priests who do not like Dalit parishioners. There's a lot of bias with them. There's a lot of untouchability practice also. See, my family disowned me. My family disowned me. My extended relatives, my chitapa, my father's younger brother is a Jesuit, but he disowned me because he doesn't want people to know that he's a Dalit, because I'm talking Dalit politics. So he doesn't want people to know that he's he comes from a Dalit family, so that he'll get discriminated. They don't talk to me. A lot of my relatives don't talk to me, so I stopped going to those. So this happens in a very long time. This has been happening and when it comes to northern districts, Ariyalur, Perambalur, and you go to Trichy, and those places are filled with Christian Vellalas and Udayas who consider Dalit Christians.
Yeah, but I don't understand if it has happened in 2023, we are sitting in 2025, the same Kottapalayam church that we are talking about in Trichy. Why is it that the things have not moved? I'm sure some DM, district magistrate, I'm sure some, administrative officer, someone can take cognizance of it. Are the Dalit Christians being, beaten to silence, that they keep
Yes,
quiet for 2 years?
they are too spiritual. Now what is affecting them is this religiosity which is affecting them. They don't think that they can go for legal, intervention. Legal intervention is something which I want the Christians to be doing, but they do not do it because they think, oh, I'm too obedient to my church, let the Pope decide. Let the Pope decide. Now first of all, Pope is himself, even though he's I know even the late Pope Francis did understand that caste was existing, but he had no call at all in India. In India, he cannot operate in a way where he can, think about, annihilating the caste within the Christian church, which is not happening. And that's why Dalit Christians asked to, the central government to, include us in the ST list, because we are not part of the, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe list.
Yeah.
We are called as BC Christians. So we do not have the SC/ST Atrocity Act.
Oh
Now
my
you're
God.
asking me, right? Why people are not filing any case?
Yeah, I
Because
thought the
SC/ST
Atrocities Act will help, but you're not
no,
applicable. Oh,
I am not applicable. So even if there's a honor killing which happens on a Dalit Christian boy by a Nadar Christian, girl's family, an SC/ST cannot be booked. On me, if something happens to me, an SC/ST case cannot be booked, and there is no compensation under
so
the SC/ST
so
scheme
where do you
also.
see a solution, Shalin?
So there are only two solutions right now. One is we've been fighting this battle from
Right.
1950. We've been fighting because we call August as the black month for Dalit Christians, where we were excluded from the Dalit list, from scheduled caste and tribes list. We need to be included back. Otherwise, without SC/ST Atrocities Act, we cannot survive. Then another thing, because of that, only the peace talks and all those things happen. We need to have a proper law. And then, what we need is the government also should pitch in, because I know priests and nuns from the Dalit community who go around protesting the caste atrocities, but the government doesn't take much cognizance at all. Just like what happens with the temples in Tamil Nadu, the same wise with Christianity also. People doesn't, so much of caste issues. If there's a lot of protest which happens, but none of the chief minister, he only goes around taking part in that the Christmas celebration. That is not law. That is not justice. Eating cake and homemade wine is not justice for Christians. You have to make sure that Dalit Christians live a dignified life in a place which you call as Periyar land. Whatever it is, this is Ambedkar's land. The whole of India is Ambedkar's land. And we need equality and justice. And most of the times, why DMK, ADMK, or any political party who call themselves as social justice warriors, they keep silent, is because they are dependent on these Nadar Christian, Udayar, 1 year votes. So
Everything
they
is
don't
about
think-
vote, right? And that's why the DMK in this election year should, kind of
Yeah,
either.
because most of them are politically connected to DMK.
That's right.
Most of the Christians are politically connected to DMK. And that's the
Right.
reason DMK does not do anything. And that's the reason they also have a strong hand to do these kind of things. They don't take tax money from the church goers. There are places where left side is for Dalits, right side is for other Christians.
My God, I can only think about the civil rights movement in America when these things, atrocities happen on the colored people, and there was a big revolution. I think Tamil Nadu is ready for a revolution.